I think parents are lying to their graduating kids. Not on purpose, not with bad intentions, but that whole "you can be anything you want" speech, there's a quiet panic hiding underneath it right now. And I think we all feel it. Because can they? Can they afford to move out? Survive this economy? Compete with AI? Stay mentally healthy while being algorithmically manipulated 24/7? Build something stable in a world that can't seem to stop wobbling. My youngest just graduated, and I'm trying to be honest about what I felt about his future. I'm Christy Chanelle, and this is Sassy Politics. When I graduated, I felt free. The future was wide open. A little terrifying, but in an exciting way. I wasn't thinking about AI eating entire industries. I wasn't thinking about whether home ownership would become a fantasy. I wasn't thinking about surveillance systems or whether my face was being quietly added to some database somewhere. I just thought, life is starting. Yesterday, I was standing in a football stadium, smiling, clapping, crying behind my sunglasses like every other parent. But a second voice in my head was whispering, what kind of world did we just hand these graduates? Let's talk about the economy. Rent is unhinged. Groceries are unhinged. Insurance is unhinged. Young adults are living at home longer. And it's not because they're not ambitious. It's just math. Basic, brutal math. And then we have AI. My son wants to go into sales, which I actually think is super smart. Human connection, trust, people. But entire industries are reshaping themselves almost overnight. And not one expert, not one CEO, not one LinkedIn thought leader can tell you with certainty what jobs exist in 10 years. Trades are booming because you can't automate a plumber. White-collar careers are being quietly hollowed out. It's a lot to graduate into. But what's keeping me up at night more so than AI taking jobs is surveillance. I did an episode recently on data centers, water use, energy consumption, environmental impact, and it did very well. But I didn't go far enough because those centers aren't just storing graduation pictures and dance videos. They're powering AI systems, predictive systems, behavioral profiling, facial recognition. Most people think surveillance means cameras on a street, but modern surveillance is quieter than that. Technologies designed to track, analyze, predict, and categorize human behavior at a massive scale. Your searches, your location, your purchases, your face, your patterns, your everything. Companies like Palantir have built entire empires around aggregating and analyzing massive amounts of data for governments and institutions. And yes, I'll be fair, the internet oversimplifies everything, including China's social credit system, which is more complicated than the one bad post and your electricity will be shut off. China is running one of the most advanced surveillance states on the planet. That's documented fact. What scares people isn't that America wakes up one morning and becomes that overnight. It's the slow creep, the normalization, the quiet expansion of monitoring and tracking and behavioral flagging until one day you look up and realize the infrastructure, it was built while everyone else was busy scrolling. And I think that's really unsettling as a parent. What kind of digital world will our children grow up inside of? And before we fully understand the consequences ourselves, we're handing these kids algorithms optimized for engagement, even when that engagement comes from outrage, isolation, fear, or addiction. We're handing them information environments where the loudest, most outrageous voice wins. Clickbait, rage bait, And then we say, good luck, be kind, follow your dreams. I'm genuinely thankful my kids are out of the Texas school system, because watching politics and religion elbow their way into curriculum makes me want to flip a table. The ideological tug of war over what children are allowed to learn, the 10 Commandments in classrooms, oh my God, the curriculum battles. Every generation gets shaped by systems, but right now it's happening openly and aggressively. Kids are expected to graduate straight into it and just figure it out. Women are graduating into uncertainty about their own rights. Young men are trying to figure out identity in a world that's weaponized masculinity from every single direction. There's climate anxiety, housing instability, AI disruption, and a 24-hour news cycle that would make anyone want to move into a cabin in the woods. And I so would do that, but I'm afraid of Freddy Krueger and Jason. That's a lot to put on a kid in a cap and gown, don't you think? And yet, when I look at my children, I still see kindness. Genuine, unperformative kindness. And that matters more to me than any milestone they hit on anyone else's fucking timeline. I've been a mother since I was 19 years old. 19. My entire adult life has been organized around raising other humans. And now, watching my youngest walk across that stage, I realized something both terrifying and kind of beautiful. I'm graduating too, from a season of life. And underneath all my fear about the future they're walking into, there's this quiet, unexpected excitement. Because now I get to ask the same question my son is asking himself. What do I want to do now? You know, we don't stop becoming. We just keep graduating into newer, stranger, hopefully better versions of ourselves. I hope my kids make their mark. I hope they protect people who need protecting. I hope they think deeply instead of just reacting. And I hope they know, really know, that success was never about following someone else's timeline. It's about becoming fully yourself in a world that has a lot of opinions about who you should be. And to every empty nester, every parent whose kids are grown, every parent whose children are still under your roof but need you a little less, this part is for you. We spent years pouring ourselves into other people, showing up, sacrificing, holding everything together. And we wouldn't trade a single moment of it. It's our time now, not in a selfish way, in a necessary way. Because we have work to do. We have people to impact. We have things to say and changes to make, and a whole world that could use a little more of what we've got. And we have a lot of life left to live. So let's not shrink into the background just because this season is over. Let's graduate into the next chapter the same way we raised our kids, with everything we've got. So maybe this graduation wasn't just theirs. Maybe it was ours too. We are not done, not even close. Because this next chapter doesn't belong only to our children. It belongs to us too. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the future isn't supposed to be carried by one generation alone. Maybe it's going to take all of us, every parent, every teenager, every teacher, every worker, every generation. Every person willing to stay human in a world trying to numb us, divide us, distract us, and profit from our exhaustion. Maybe the future gets better because ordinary people decide to care about each other again. Because despite all of the fear, despite the politics, despite the algorithms, despite the surveillance, despite the uncertainty, I still believe people matter. I definitely still believe critical thinking matters and empathy. And I believe human beings are capable of building a better world than the one we've inherited. But it's going to take courage. It's going to take people willing to question things, people willing to protect each other, and raise thoughtful children instead of obedient ones. And maybe that's what graduation actually is. Not the ending of childhood, but the beginning of responsibility to ourselves, to each other, to the kind of future we're creating together. So yes, I'm scared for these kids sometimes, but I'm hopeful too, because when I look at this generation, I don't just see anxiety and confusion. I see awareness, compassion, people who are willing to question the systems earlier than we did. I see people who actually want a better world. And that might be exactly what saves us. See you next Tuesday.